She falls down flat on the floor, arms still outstretched. Arwen asks what could have possibly gotten into her, and she replies that the pair of skeletons are actually her parents, the king and queen. She explains that the evil wizard had killed her parents long ago, but it seems like they're still under his spell, their bodies still moving against their will. Arwen takes out his sword, disgusted by the evil wizard's plan that was luckily thwarted by Luria's intervention.
I was often told I looked like my mother.
He barks at her, saying it's impossible to tell since they're both skeletons.
I got my beautiful golden hair from my mother.
Neither of you have any hair.
Father, mother, I want to introduce somebody to you. This is my future lover, Arwen.
The pair stops, their invisible strings seem to have been cut. He turns back to her, confused. She tells him that meeting with the parents is important and goads him on to say something that will make them like him. With a hand scratching the back of his neck, he introduces himself humbly to the king and queen, informing them of his occupation and his intention to pursue a relationship with their daughter. He dodges, wondering if he absolutely failed his first impression. Arwen dodges again as the king swings his sword angrily, noting that her father had completely turned into a monster.
Doesn't every father turn into one when meeting their daughter's partner?
As their swords clash, the king begins to groan out, his words a promise of unforgiveness. He continues, declaring that he will never forgive the necromancer for coming to his castle and for what he did to his daughter. Necromancer, Arwen ponders silently. Arwen, lost in his thoughts, hops away from the blabbering king's mighty strike. Gripping his sword tightly, he promises that he will never forgive, and with a dark glare he declares his desire for death. Luria takes a step forward, staff in hand, defending her beloved. With a tone as serious as sin, she declares that they will slay her father and mother together. A hesitant Arwen was in disbelief, but she reassures him that she has already seen them die with her own eyes and the dead may never return. She grips the staff tightly, raising it higher. She tells him of her desire to bury them before they completely turn into monsters. She wants to lay them to rest with her own hands. Arwen realizes that the pair, unlike Luria, are genuine shambling skeletons, stripped of their souls. Strengthening his resolve, he moves forward, taking out his sword. He pounces forward, commending Luria for her strength. As his head is severed from his body, he could only mutter one more thing that had occupied his soulless mind. It was not a promise for death. It was not a declaration to end the necromancer's life. The last words from his lipless mouth was the name of his daughter, Luria. They head off to the royal tombs to bury the king and queen's remains, a short trip that took about a day. Arwen stands behind her, noting how strange of a sight she was. She dismisses him and continues to clasp her hands together in prayer, appreciative that she could bring her parents to a more dignified resting place. Arwen tilts his head back to marvel at the view, remarking that in this beautiful place, they can see the blue ocean and the vast horizon. I'm sure your parents will be able to rest in peace here. She agrees, she's satisfied. Arwen couldn't help but compliment her on her kidness, surprising Luria. With pride, she once again declares that she has a great personality, repeating her declaration from the day they met. She prods him, asking if he believes her now, causing him to get flustered. Moving closer to him, she asks him straight to his face if she is still a good person. Arwen cuts the light mood with a heavy revelation. The week draws to an end. Striking a charmingly modest pose, Luria delights at the week they spent together, asking if he felt the same way too, and most importantly if her charm had actually reached him. Arwen begins to think, he confesses, that he realizes that physical appearance is quite important. Frankly speaking, he tells her that he believes that what he feels is a growing bond of friendship with her, causing her to snap back at him, loathing how superficial he is. Whatever complicated feeling that's stirring inside him, he'll find out the truth once he puts his lips on hers. Luria looks up at him, proposing the kiss now, but he tells her to wait. He has something on his mind. Her secret. The pair share a brief moment of silence, Luria's hands clasped on her heart. One can only wonder what expression she's making. A cornered Luria can only express her exhaustion, how troublesome it was to have her lie completely uncovered. Arwen confronts her about her lie, though he ends his statements with a question, maybe still unsure. Once the curse is lifted, you will die, right? He tells her about how he read a diary belonging to the king, the pages within containing the desperate writings of a father fighting to save his sickly daughter. So desperate was he that he sought the help of a necromancer, not an evil wizard. Her appearance was not changed by magic, she was revived with magic. She confesses, turning away from him. Her body was weak and sickly, but her magical power was strong, that's why the evil sorcerer was after her. Under the guise of a helpful sorcerer, he was invited to her chambers, where he took her life and tried to make her his. The powerful necromancer summoned countless of undead and laid waste to the country, completely ravaging it. Although she had found an opportunity to strike a sword into his heart, it was already too late. Arwen praises her again, impressed. Luria sparkles, taking pride in her magic aptitude that enabled her to resist his puppet strings. Turning to face him again, she pleads with hands clasped together to please love her so that she may finally rest in peace. Why would you lie to me? She apologizes, confessing that she was being honest about turning into a monster after 1 week. She dreads harming innocent people, she fears turning into a mindless beast, and so she could not fail her plan to make him fall for her. If she would have told someone that their only reward for falling in love with her was to see her vanish, no one would want to help her. But if she had promised to once again be flesh, to once again be whole and beautiful, it would be easier to find someone that would help her. Or so she thought. She apologizes again, her head bowed down in shame. He makes a confession of his own, expressing his desire to snap at her with anger, but, for some reason, there is no anger in him. He asks once again, was there really no way? Could she really not turn back into a human? He would even accept her as she is. He asks, he begs. His desperate bargaining is answered with a no, no such thing exists. The dead must rest. She calls out his name and tells him to not cry. He wipes away his tears and puts a hand to her bare bony shoulder. It was not fair. Here he was a crying mess while she just stood there silently. It was not fair that a skeleton could not shed any tears. Her heart was just a bit too beautiful. He leans and gives her a kiss. Orbs of light begins emerging from her body, enveloping her form. She tells him that when she was still alive she could hardly move due to her illness, so spending the week with him was really fun. She chuckles, once again confessing that what she said from the start was true, that the curse can only be lifted through a kiss with someone that truly loved her, and so that means. They share a smile, Luria's true form revealed and her eyes finally able to shed tears. When it comes to love, is it the appearance that matters? Or is it what's on the inside that counts? Now he can say without any hesitation, when it comes to love, it's the heart that counts.